Alright, what is up YouTube? MCool40 here. Today I wanted to make a video discussing Billy Break. Before I go any further, no, this isn't any kind of diss video or anything like that. And Billy, if you ever see this, you're going to immediately think, man, he's just making this video to fucking shove an old war story down my face. No, it's nothing like that. First off, though, make sure you guys subscribe to House of Champions if you guys haven't already. You guys have seen a lot of collaborations between me and John. You guys, at least you'll get a lot of Billy Break content over there in between all of the videos that John does and everything. So something that John and Billy were working on for a little while was the channel, setting it up and everything. And I definitely think that you guys should be subbed to John. He's definitely been a staple in the community for Yu-Gi-Tubing for quite some time. Actually, he's one of the reasons why he dug me out of my hole, because I can't let him hit 100,000 before me. So that's definitely something that you guys should have as a staple. But Billy Break. So this is going to be story time with Robbie Cole on Billy Break. So having grown up in this game essentially over 10 years of time, Billy Break was one of those names that you heard, and there was a stigmata back in the day with a lot of players that the quote-unquote pro players in the earlier 2000s era, they were pretty secluded to themselves, and a lot of people had this mentality that these quote-unquote pro players were, I guess assholes is the appropriate way to put it. You know, they wouldn't immediately help out the little guys and things like that. And having progressed through the game, that stigmata definitely proved to not be true in a lot of scenarios. And I think that was one of the things that put me off as a player from talking to, I guess, older players in this game that were more well-known having grown up was, you know, oh, they're quote-unquote good players. You know, they're automatically going to be assholes. And that tended to not be the case with a lot of players. And I think Billy was one of those players that, I guess, I feel like got that negative stigmata because quote-unquote being good doesn't mean that you're an asshole. And I think at some points a lot of players were put off because of that mentality. Now, obviously, things changed as we grew up through the Teledad era and shifting into the early 2011, 2012 era. You know, pro players, if you just sit down and you talk to these people, you know, they're normal fucking human beings. And it's definitely not a bad thing to engage in a conversation with people, because these people are genuinely nice people. There's one or two in the bunch, but, you know, you have that wherever you go. So Billy's been one of those names that's been around in the game since, oh man, 2004. I think he had one of the first metagame articles way back in the day. But this has been a staple name for fucking years. I mean, I've been playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! For 10 years, off and on. And I've played Billy a couple times. It's been a pleasure. I haven't had any disservice to say about the guy. You know, you got to be doing something right if your track record is as impressive as Billy's. And I mean, I've heard in the background when we've been doing streams with John that Billy's in the background constantly playtesting, you know, preparing for these events. And I definitely think that that's something that a lot of the players don't seem to understand, is like the grind. And I think if you've been in this game for as long as Billy has for competitive, you have a very, very, very nice, I'm going to say repertoire here, of things that you should be doing, what you should be accustomed to in terms of playtesting. It should almost literally be that you've mastered what you need to do at this point. And I'm not going to say that that should be every Yu-Gi-Oh! Player's end goal. No, because in order to reach the level that, like, Billy has reached in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Mastery, I mean, this is what? The only guy that has back-to-back YCS wins, and he almost fucking did it again with European YCSs. It's quite impressive. The man made quite the rival out of Joshua Schmidt. I mean, Billy's been very innovative with his deck choices over the past. I definitely think that is something that a lot of players could take to heart, is the level of innovation the amount of time that actually goes into the quote-unquote monster that Billy Brake is. And no, this is no fucking cocksucking video. Whoever the fuck is going to say that, oh my god, Robbie, fucking, feed his ego more or some stupid shit like that. No. Okay, so war story time. Back in 2012, I played Billy in top 8 at YCS Indy. Actually, I think it was the last fucking YCS we've ever had in Indianapolis. Billy was a very nice person to play against. Obviously, I was slightly intimidated, but when you've already played through 3 other pros, you kind of start to just like, fuck it, let's go. One more on the chomping block. Every person has their day. It's just something I've come to realize with competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. How do I go about approaching this? So, no matter what scenario happens, if you look at the YCS, the UDS with Alfie versus Cho, Alfie was in a very good position, but Cho just had the Denko Sekka. And it's a very prominent example of it's just your day. I don't know if that's just some syntax for, well, shit, he had the fucking out and he's just better than me. But some days when your opponent just opens up, 6 cards, when you have better odds of opening up Exodia than those 6 cards. My favorite Billy quote, by the way. In game 2 to 2-0 Billy, him playing Inzectors and you're playing Gadgets. It's definitely interesting. I remember at that time that Billy also said something along the lines of Gadgets aren't supposed to be able to produce 3 monsters on the field at turn 1. Yeah, that is true. I am not going to lie. Still 5 years later, Billy, you're exactly right. Gadgets aren't supposed to be able to produce 3 monsters, but at the end of the day, much like, I can't believe I'm about to fucking compare Yu-Gi-Oh to Vanguard. Vanguard's a game scenario where there's a lot of integral combos that can be done. For those of you that have ever played Vanguard, or if you know what Gear Chronicle is, Gear Chronicle is the toolbox of the game. And it's very interesting because that deck has so many little integral things that it can do. And there are times where you can produce a combo that you normally wouldn't be able to do. Same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Every once in a while you'll be able to do something that your deck normally shouldn't be able to do. I think it's one of the cool things about Yu-Gi-Oh! At times is often we can lead on to combos that we normally wouldn't get the chance to do. And it's very interesting in terms of the game style because those combos can often win you the game if your opponent didn't realize that you could do something or a game state scenario arises because of that. I definitely like it a lot. But Billy's one of the players that I think that this community should strive to take something from. Considering the guy is a fucking dinosaur at this point. The man, he hasn't even fossilized, alright? Like, he's still going. Like, we did it. The level of dedication, the level of time that this man puts into this game to playtest. Granted, traveling is expensive and a lot of players will be like, but we can't afford that. Sure, that is true. But when you have as much time and dedication as you want towards this game, you will reach the level of mastery that you feel that you are acceptable with. And Billy's definitely one of those people that has gone above and beyond in terms of competitive play in this game. I definitely respect that about the guy. He's definitely way better than I am. And it definitely says a lot about his character. Guy is literally a master duelist. So, just something I wanted to point out about Billy in general is just, the guy's very good, and I definitely think that a lot of the player base in this game could take to learn something from someone that's been around here as long as he has. So guys, what have been your experiences with Billy? It's important to remember that no one in this game doesn't have a chance to be good at this game. And I definitely think that with a lot of time and effort, it takes you 10 years to effectively be good at something, maybe 7 years. So if you put 7 years of your life towards something, and that one thing being Yu-Gi-Oh, oddly enough, then you should definitely have a much higher skill set than most people. And I think that's what we're really seeing here, is a case of good Yu-Gi-Oh. But what are your guys' experiences with Billy? Do you guys think that Billy's a good example for players coming into this game that are like, oh my god, I want to be good at this game? Do you guys think that there are other good examples? Obviously, as I said, make sure you guys check out House of Champions as well, for John Moore, and of course, Billy Break and Billy Go. Billy Go is the best, by the way. There's not much else to really say about this. I just wanted to make this video just telling people that obviously Billy is an actual human being, that he just plays a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! The guy's a fucking human being, but like, there's always a story behind the people that are extremely good at Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just feel that sometimes these people don't get enough recognition for, what they do in this game and things like that in terms of being good players. And it's a little bit of a shame some days just seeing, I don't know, just people being people in this game. Fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright guys, I'm out. Peace. That's not all, folks. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Please check out my Cardfight Vanguard channel, VanCole40. You guys will get an insight on our playtesting sessions. And please check out the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. That way you guys can follow the House of Champions and MCole40 interactions. Please check out MCole Games for all of your guys' trading card game needs. And if you guys enjoyed this content, please check out my Patreon in the description. Every bit helps to the creation of these videos. One step at a time in improvement, and that's the goal of this channel. Alright guys, have a good time, and thanks for watching.